Hey guys, John Rettinger here. As we get closer to the holiday season, there are a ton of hot wireless handhelds either out or coming out, and probably two of the hottest of the hot, the iPhone 3GS and the Motorola Droid. The iPhone 3GS is running on AT&T's network here in the US, and the Droid is running on Verizon's. So we're going to put these two Goliaths head to head. We're going to cover browser and speed, text entry, customization, scrolling, navigation, apps and maps, and then a few other little things along the way. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you're going to see when you want to look at your device is going to be the unlock screen. The unlock screen on the iPhone is pretty simple. Slide to unlock. There's no other functionality there. You just slide to unlock. The unlock screen on the Droid is pretty similar, but has a few tricks up its sleeve. So if you want to unlock it, simply slide to unlock, just like you did on the iPhone. But if you want to change the ring style from vibrate to ring or vice versa, you can actually go the other direction. Sound is on. Do it one more time. Sound is off. Kind of cool, and this is something that'll be found on Android 2.0. Let's go ahead and unlock it, and let's continue with our tests. I think the first thing that everybody wants to see is browser speed and how the browsers work on both devices. So these are each running on the same Wi-Fi network, so it'll be a very fair test of speed. We'll test 3G speeds of each afterwards, but just know that it's running on the same network, so it should be very fair. We're going to load TechnoBuffalo on each, and it has been loaded on both devices before, so this will be a fair test of visiting a website that you check out on a regular basis. So first we'll get it queued up here on the iPhone 3GS. TechnoBuffalo, hit the browser here as well. And there it is in bookmarks. So we'll go ahead and try and launch it at the same time and see how we do. Okay, they are both off and again connected over Wi-Fi. You can see the progress bar across the top of the Droid. So we can already start viewing the page on the iPhone, but it's not quite complete yet. There it is on the Droid. And the Droid is done and the iPhone is still loading, which is actually very impressive. The hardware on the Droid is quite nice, and the iPhone now just finished up. Let's take a look at how the browsing navigation work on each. So if you want to scroll through, obviously you can use your finger, and both have capacitive touchscreens. And one of the things I like about the iPhone is that you never get that checkerboard, like the screen is refreshing as you're going down. The content always seems to be there. If you want to zoom in, you can do it one of two ways. You can either double tap to zoom in, or you can take advantage of the multi-touch capabilities the phone has and use two fingers to pinch and zoom to wherever you'd like. Notice right here, there's a YouTube video. I can go ahead and hit play, and it'll open the iPhone's built-in YouTube player. It won't play it on the screen since both phones don't have flash, but when you're done viewing the video, it'll take you right back. Certainly the phone's got an accelerometer, so when you turn it into portrait, you can view the page that way as well. Let's see how the Droid stacks up. Certainly it looks very similar. Move that a little bit over. Scrolling is also very smooth, no checkerboard pattern there. If you want to zoom in, you can do it one of two ways as well. You can double tap, similar to what we've just seen, and it zooms in. Double tap again to zoom out. You don't have multi-touch gestures here. Zooming is primarily done via navigation on the bottom. You've got two little hourglasses, plus or minus. Certainly I prefer the multi-touch, but this is a very nice implementation and it really works quite well. And the YouTube videos here will play much the same way. I can hit play, it'll take me to the built-in YouTube player and come back. I'd say really the only difference between the browsers is the multi-touch capabilities on the iPhone. The browser on Android 2.0 is fantastic. If you like what you get on the iPhone, you're going to like it equally, I think, on Android. You just need to get used to the lack of pinch or zoom if you're coming from an iPhone. If you're not used to it, you're never going to know the difference. Browser for browser, I think that these things really keep up well with each other. The speed of Android on Wi-Fi and the speed versus the iPhone 3GS, you saw there is a difference. So we're going to have to call this one, I think, a little bit of a draw because of the multi-touch capabilities on the iPhone, but the speed of the Droid. It's really going to come down to which one you prefer, which one your network of choice is. So right now I'm going to go ahead and turn off Wi-Fi on each, and we're going to run the same set of tests over the 3G networks. Okay, next we're going to test 3G browser speeds of both devices. I've got 5 bars of AT&T 3G, and I've got 5 bars of Verizon 3G, so it should be a relatively fair comparison. Keep in mind this is going to vary depending on your 3G speeds on where you are, but here in Southern California you can at least get a sense. We're going to load up Engadget.com, and again this is a site that has been put on both devices, so it'll be a test of a site that you visit on a regular basis. So we'll hit load here, and we'll hit go here. Try and get them at the same time. Alright, and both are off. You can see the yellow bar on the Droid and the blue bar on the iPhone. Now you can already start viewing content on the iPhone, but not yet on the Droid. There it loads up on the Droid. Looks like both are just about at the same point. Alright, the iPhone has finished, and now the Droid is still loading. And now the Droid is done. So over 3G to 3G, it looks like AT&T speeds were just a little bit faster. And the navigation is going to be exactly the same as I just showed you. I think browser to browser, again, it's a very, very, very close. I think that the browser on the Droid is actually fantastic and much better than the browser on Android 1.6 that you'd find on other Android devices. So let's go ahead and move on to the next round, and we'll make this text entry. So go to the home screen of each. So we'll start again here with the iPhone. I'm going to go ahead and open up a new email message. So text entry is really done only one way on the iPhone, via virtual keyboard either in portrait or landscape. And before I get into speeds and how easy it is to type, I should say that I am an iPhone owner, and I've been using every iteration of the iPhone, so I'm very familiar with the keyboard on the iPhone. The Droid certainly just came out, so I have not had a chance to become as accurate with it as I am with the iPhone. I do want to give a little bit of a caveat there in all fairness. So you can type anything that you'd like, and you can also type as well in portrait. I'll do a real quick test so you guys can see what the on-screen keyboards look like. As you select a letter, you can move your finger around and you can see what letter you're typing. I think that's a very handy feature, and Apple's autocorrect is really quite accurate. So just in landscape, I'll do a quick test and I'll just type this as a test. So that was pretty quick. Again, I am familiar with the keyboard. We'll try that in landscape. Again, nice and quick. So we'll open up a new email on the Droid, and we'll see how text entry works as well on this. Okay, so I've got a new entry field here, and you can enter text in one of two ways, either using the on-screen virtual keyboard or the slide-out QWERTY. So I'll go ahead and open up the virtual keyboard. And I can say I've used the virtual board on older Android devices, 1.6 devices, and speed and accuracy has really been improved with 2.0. So you get the same sort of thing. As you move your finger over, you can see the letters, and it does have autocorrect and recommendation here. So I'll type again, this is a test, and we'll see how it works. You can see as I type, there are letters down below that give me suggestions for what I'd like. So a little bit of inaccuracy, and I can double tap the spacebar for a period, but I did get this as a test. Now, one of the nice things about the Droid, and I think one of the biggest drawing points, is that you don't have to rely on the virtual keyboard if you don't want to, because it has a full slide-out QWERTY keyboard. Now, this is an interesting QWERTY keyboard, and some questionable decisions were made by Motorola's design team. You've got a pretty spacious QWERTY keyboard, but there's a lot of space and real estate that's being taken up by this D-pad. It's a 5-way D-pad. You can actually select it in the middle. But the keys, you can see, if I angle it up, they're not really raised and there's no doming to them, so it's hard to feel a difference between each key. I think the more you use the keyboard, the more you're going to get used to it. But let's go ahead and type out this is a test again on the QWERTY keyboard and see how it goes. This is a text, not a test. So a little bit hard to get used to. I think like one of those things, the more you use it, the more you are going to get used to it. I am one of the few that, probably actually one of the many rather, that prefer a physical keyboard to a QWERTY. So I got to give this round solely to the Droid. I think the best implementation I've ever seen of a on-screen virtual keyboard is the iPhone, but there's very little substitute for having actual tangible keys. And you've got the option for using the on-screen keyboard for quick text entry. It's not bad on the Droid. It's not the best physical keyboard that I've seen. I think that crown's got to go to the Tilt 2 or the Touch Pro 2, depending on where you are. But it is a very, very, very good implementation. So the next round is customization. Now the iPhone is known for being very closed and not offering a lot of customization, at least within Apple's confines. You can configure your home screen and arrange your icons, but that's really the biggest level of customization that you get. Droid, and Android in particular, offers a high level of customization. Certainly you can customize the icons any way you want, move them around just as you could on the iPhone, but you can also put on here these widgets, which you can see I've got a few here. This one is YouTube, this one controls my device manager and wireless. This is one for Facebook, and there are a ton of different options. If you go ahead and hit the home screen, widgets, and there are more that are being added pretty regularly, and you can pick whichever one you'd like. One of the things about Android is it's completely open source, so you can customize this any way that you'd like. So from customization, certainly it's not hard to beat Apple, since they don't really offer a high level of customization. So this also has to go to the Droid. Certainly there are a ton of rounds that you could pick where I could skew it one way or skew it the other. But I'm trying to pick the rounds that I think most people would want to use and most people are really most curious about. So let's talk about scrolling. One of the things with touchscreen phones, and one of the things that I've seen with Windows Mobile, is as you scroll, you get that checkerboard. The screen can't refresh fast enough to get to where you want to go. And I think that you can illustrate scrolling very easily with contacts. So I'm going to open up contacts on the iPhone, and I'm going to show you how the scrolling works. It's very quick, and it's kinetic. As I let go, it keeps scrolling. And I never get a checkerboard pattern. The processor keeps up with everything that I want. Let's take a look at contacts on the Droid and see if it does the same thing. The camera refocus there. And it definitely keeps up just as fast, and it's got the same kinetic scrolling as well. It's got a big bar across the side where you can navigate to the letters you like. So scrolling, equally fast on each, no processor lag, and it can certainly keep up with any of the scrolling that you'd want to do. This one, I think, is a draw. So next, let's move on to maps. And I think that this one is something that people really want to see on Android 2.0 because, as you might know, or maybe you don't know, Android 2.0 offers free turn-by-turn directions, which I'm going to demonstrate in an upcoming video. This is just going to be an overview. So we're going to focus on the native map applications that come, Google Maps on each. So let's go ahead and open it up on the iPhone. So they both have GPS, so you can really zoom in and see where you're at and sort of get a better sense of what you're looking at. You can view by traffic, you can view by map, satellite, hybrid, or list. You can get live traffic, and you can do a route and it'll tell you where to go. It's not certainly turn by turn like a Garmin or a Nuvi, but it will give you driving directions. It'll tell you when to turn, and you can follow yourself along as the little blue dot and blue pin moves along. And since it's web enabled, the maps are always getting updated, and the points of interest and such are always getting updated. And you can search and call for phone numbers right from the screen. So there's sort of two map functionalities found on the Droid. First, we'll take a look at Google Maps, which is certainly comparable to what we're looking at right now. So you can zoom in or zoom out just as you could on the browser with that plus or minus. Again, you can use multi-touch with the iPhone to zoom in or out. So one thing that this has is a thing called layers. Let me show you what these layers are. Open up the menu, and you see there's one right there called layers. Now this lets you add, layers over your map. So you can add traffic, you can add satellite, you can even add Google Latitude to see where your friends are, or even Wikipedia to learn about landmarks that you may be walking by or driving by. And there are more layers, so you can view your map or even transit lines if you want to see where the subways and stuff go. I'll show you what that looks like. We'll go back to the main menu, and we'll show traffic. So I'll give you a sense of where live traffic is, where I'm at right now on a Sunday afternoon. Things are pretty clear. Google Map for Google Map functionality, about the same. You get a few more options with the layers that you don't get with the iPhone, but I think that eventually those options will come over to the iPhone. But what the Droid offers that the iPhone does not is turn-by-turn direction, similar to what you get on a Garmin or a Nuvi. And I think eventually this will come to the iPhone, but right now it's only found on Android 2.0, and the Droid is the only Android 2.0 device. So we'll hit Car Home, and you can use voice search to pick a location, and you get free, well, turn-by-turn directions. I'll show you very quickly what this looks like. And again, in a limit of time, I can't do the best, so I'll cancel that out. Search South Coast Plaza. That's a local mall by me. So there's South Coast Plaza. I can go ahead and hit Get Directions, and it'll start routing me to where I want to go, either in the browser or Maps. And again, there'll be a full demonstration of this and how it works, but you do get a very robotic lady's voice telling you to turn left on, and she'll give you the street name. So the last category we're going to look at is the App Store. And the App Store on the iPhone, you see it everywhere. There's an app for that. There's an app for that. Because there really is an app for that. The App Store is huge and growing, and there are a ton of free applications. I think this is one of the things that separate the iPhone from the rest of the pack. However, Android Marketplace has gotten a redesign and is really becoming almost as full-featured. There are a bit more applications in the iPhone, but to really make up for that, most of the applications in the Marketplace are actually free. So we're getting a phone call here. We'll ignore that. You can rotate to ignore. And as you go, you'll see that most of these are free. So app for app, I think that there are more in the, obviously, Apple App Store, but there are more free options in Android. So it's really going to come down to personal preference. So in conclusion, I think both of these devices really are fantastic and offer some functionality not seen in others. If you get better AT&T reception, I think the iPhone 3GS is a better way to go. If you get better Verizon reception, I think you can pick up the Droid and not feel like you're losing anything. You're going to get a fantastic device. If you get both good reception for each device, it's going to really come down to which one you like. I think the iPhone OS is becoming a little bit stale, so if you're getting bored of the iPhone and your contract's up, picking up a Droid, you're not going to lose anything. You're going to get an increased functionality with the keyboard and turn-by-turn directions, and you're going to get the openness of the Android platform. So guys, hope you enjoyed this comparison, head-to-head action of the iPhone versus the Motorola Droid. For exclusive content, check me out at Twitter, twitter.com/John4Lakers. And to get all of your tech news, check out TechnoBuffalo.com. Links to both of those will be in the sidebar. I'm John Rettinger, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.